I can speak really well. You have no voice and I can't talk.
It's a good show.
Yeah, right. One of my favorite podcasts.
Shrinking amygdalas and giving you the best politics-free zone in podcasting, all while sipping off-brand Robitussin and sucking on cough drops. This is Basic AF, and this is as good as I'm going to sound today. Hello,
Don't lie,
everybody.
Tom
Anderson
You've
here.
been smoking
Oh, man.
6 packs a day since the end of the election.
Well, it's been kind of a wild week with the voice. And
Yeah.
I feel great. Like, I don't feel bad, but I had a cold, or still do. So, yeah, it's a little rough. But
It's the Sexy Tom Show.
I don't know about that. But anyway, Tom Anderson here. My buddy Jeff Battersby. As always, a pleasure to hang out with you for a little while, Jeff.
Yeah, fun. This is fun.
Get ready to talk
Going
a lot.
through puberty.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, so this is episode 48. You can find show notes for this episode at basicafshow.com/48.
48.
48.
Hard to believe. 2 away from 50. Dang.
That is hard to believe.
Yeah. It's almost as old as we are now.
Yeah.
In episodes, anyway.
Right. Won't take long. It'll be past, and then we'll feel a little better. Yes. Okay. So topics today, we're going to talk about the new Macs that Apple released recently. We kind of fell, I think that week that they did those announcements was the week that they started the day we released the last episode, which was the journaling guy with Joe Moore, which is really great. Make sure you listen to it. Such a great
episode.
Got a lot of positive feedback on that one. So again, we always thank Joe for coming on.
Yeah,
with
really
us.
good. Thank you.
Yeah, it was a great show. So we're going to talk about those new Macs that came out. Of course, Apple Intelligence is out now as well. At least the initial features. That's going to be a slow roll.
It is, right?
Yep. Yeah, and so we'll dig into that a little bit at the end as well. Before we do, saw in the news this week that Elwood Edwards passed away at the age of 74. You may be asking yourself, who is Elwood Edwards?
Who is Elwood Edwards?
I think this will answer the question, Jeff.
Welcome. You've got mail.
Oh.
Yeah, so the guy, the voice of AOL, America Online, way back, he recorded that in 1989, apparently. Got paid $200. Even back then, he was making more than we are with this thing.
Yeah. So far. Yeah. And no residuals. So
Right.
the dude didn't get any residuals. How bad is that? Can you imagine if he got a residual for every time that popped up?
Oh, my gosh.
Dude, he would have been, even if it was a penny, he would have been a billionaire.
Yeah, and apparently his wife worked there. So he did that in 1989, and it was Quantum Computer Services. So that, the reason we mentioned this even really is that's where I got my start in kind of tech, if you will. And ended up getting my first Macintosh as part of my gig there and everything. But anyway, he recorded that. His wife apparently worked there back then. And so they just wanted some type of a little sound. So he agreed to do it. He was a radio guy for years. May have done some TV stuff too. But so he did that. But yeah, just think though, if he had gotten residuals from that, every time you signed in, that would play.
Yeah, he would have made $1 billion, zillion. Like I said, even if it was a penny.
Mm-hmm. And what's funny is, let's see, I started at AOL in 1993, and I left in 2007. And for years and years, the company ran on AOL Mail, which is hilarious when you look back on it. But because Gmail wasn't around then, and Exchange was just really getting started. And so, yeah, a lot of it was just AOL Mail. Then towards middle of the 2000s, I think, we migrated that to Exchange, I think it was. Because by that point, BlackBerry was getting big, right? So you had the BlackBerry Enterprise Server and all that stuff. But anyway.
Yeah, and you would be surprised how many of my clients still use AOL for email.
Yeah, it's still around.
It's a pain in the ass.
I was employee number 245.
Dang, Tom.
Yeah, I'm old.
How's your stock options?
Oh, they're long gone. Yeah, true story. I got laid. So when I got laid off in between in there, so I had kind of two stints. So 93 to 99, and then 2000 to 2007. And it used to be when you got laid off, they would vest your options and you'd go on your merry way. I was the first group of people laid off after they decided, well, we're not vesting your options anymore. We're just going to give you a little severance package. So I was like, son of a bitch.
Too bad for you.
Yeah. So
anyway. We wouldn't be doing this podcast, though.
That's true. Look where we are today, Jeff.
Yeah. Right? It's you and me now.
That's it. That is it.
Making less than Mr. Edwards did.
Mm-hmm.
But having a good time. I mean,
we are. Yeah,
that's right. That's the big deal.
Yeah, and I think he had a good time with that too. Like, I don't think and realistically, I don't think anyone expected that would, become such a thing. Because
no, it's iconic voice of an era.
Yeah,
I mean, truly.
Yeah, and at the time it was, 1989. There's probably like the Q-Link service. So they had Q-Link, PC-Link. God, PC-Link was like the DOS version, and then the first version with the graphical user interface was the America Online client. But and that's the one I knew it from. I didn't know it from the other ones. I don't even know if I played any other ones. But anywho, so anyway, a legend.
Yes,
and part of the history of internet. And
those are the days, it's don't pick up the phone. Don't.
Mm-hmm.
And then inevitably somebody would, pick up the phone and suddenly, you're no longer connected to the internet. So
yeah, one of the funniest things is when I was doing tech support, and people would call in and they couldn't get connected, and be like, okay, so let's change the modem string, which. You kids, the modem string was a set of commands that would configure the parameters that the modem operated under. And so certain modems to connect, you'd have to set up a certain string of commands. So it'd be like AT, ampersand, F, and whatever. But without fail, when it was time to test it, it'd say, okay, Mrs. Smith, do you have a second line there? So like if you try to connect, it's not going to hang up on us, right? Oh yeah, I've got a second line. Okay, well, let's go ahead and connect. And they would do it, and it would click. She had two phones, but she only had one line.
Not two
or her,
lines.
or him, anyone. It was everybody. But that was a fun place to work.
Yeah, sure it was. It was interesting times. Probably wild parties.
There's a few of those. Yeah, beer bashes every other Friday in the break room on the second floor there in Tyson's Corner.
Well.
All right, so into the main topics.
Yes, indeed. With that last, we salute you, Mr.
We do.
Mr. Edwards.
Yeah.
All right, onward.
Okay. The week of Halloween seems to be the new time that Apple likes to debut Macs for us. They had that event last year. I forget what they called that. And so they did it a little bit differently this year, where they did kind of 3 days of announcements. And so what we will do is we will just run through those kind of chronologically, starting with Monday's announcements. So Jeff, what did we get on that Monday?
On Monday, we got some new Macs. Apple announced its new iMac, and with M4 chips, which I'm glad my mom waited. She's probably going to be getting one of these. Baseline of 16 gigs of RAM. Yeah, finally, right? It's usually Apple always gets a finally, but this really is a finally. 24-inch 4.5K Retina display, including a new nano texture glass option. Whoops. You got to leave that in. Apple also concatenated those two words, didn't I? Revamped the available colors. Knew it'd make you laugh. Which they really look great. I like the new colors that they've gotten. So M4 chips, 8-core CPU, 8-core GPU, or 10-core CPU and 10-core GPU. 16 gigs base RAM, upgradable to 32. Storage starts, I still think this is a little low at 256 gigs, up to 2 terabytes, up to 4 Thunderbolt 4 ports. Color options in blue, purple, pink, orange, yellow, green, and silver, and it starts at $12.99. By the way, just as a side note, I just ordered one of these for a client. If you want Ethernet, it's not on the Mac itself. It's in the power.
That's right.
In the power brick.
Block.
Right? So just something to keep in mind. I still always think if it's possible, you can connect via Ethernet. You can do that. You could pre-order this. We are recording this on the 9th. You could pre-order
so they should be out
these
now,
iMacs as of yesterday. So,
so they are in store.
And Tom, being his usual whiny self, says, "Love a big screen. Sad to say, there's still no option for larger displays."
Correct. Do you care
they
about
are
that
smaller.
much? Like, I know you don't. Well, you've got an iMac, or you used to.
No, I don't have. I haven't had an iMac for a while. I do have an old one sitting down here, but I've got the studio display upstairs.
That's right. Yeah, you replaced it for that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm using. And down here, I've got actually a nice. I can't remember. I think this might be a Dell display. That's really nice quality. So that's what I've got connected to this Mac Mini.
Got it.
So, but that's a pretty nice deal.
Yeah, they do look really great. That picture The Verge had was the colors are very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up on that day, we got Magic Keyboard, Magic Mouse, and Magic Trackpad. Now with USB-C. Still plug those babies in underneath, or at least the mice.
Of course, that got the socials all fired up.
Of course it did. You know what? I kind of get that, because I'd like to be able to use a mouse while I'm charging it. It's not like a mouse it dies when you're not using it. It's usually like, hey, you need to charge the battery. And so, I don't know what kind of engineering genius went into it, but it's not that big a deal. It's not a total pain in the neck. But now, pretty much, is there anything left with a standard USB connection and
Lightning?
Lightning.
I think there is.
There's still an iPad that has that. No? Isn't the 9th gen?
Do they still sell that? Is that? Oh, they do still sell that.
They
right.
do still
Yeah, that
sell
still has it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's the last line of defense right there.
So yeah, there's not many.
No.
So it's been a slow transition, but glad to see that.
Yeah, it's we'll see what the next iteration of all these things brings.
Right.
Then on Tuesday, Tom, what happened then?
Oh baby, Tuesday, we've got the new Mac Mini. I know you and I are both fans of the Mac Mini.
Love it.
Yep. And so there'd been rumors that there was going to be a new, smaller Mac Mini, and we actually got that. So on Tuesday. Dramatically smaller, only 5x5 inch design. It's a little taller than the old outgoing Mac Mini.
It is.
But it's dramatically smaller. I think it looks really great.
Oh my God.
I would love to have one, but I don't need to upgrade, so I'm not getting one yet. I know I've said that before.
No justification for getting one myself. Man,
no.
I feel exactly the same same way.
But it's really cool looking. What configuration options do we have in this thing?
So these again are M4 chips, by the way. Apple Intelligence, all a part of these chips. So that's a feature. 10-core CPU, GPU, and then there's an M4 with up to 14-core CPU and a 20-core GPU. RAM starts at 16, which is the standard for, I think, all these things. And then we can get up to 32 or 64 gigs of RAM, which, these Mac Minis, for my money, have been some of the best Macs going for quite some time. And they have, when I was doing Apple service work, by far my favorites. I thought they were the most thoughtfully engineered when Apple started going to the current form factor. The original one was kind of a pain in the neck to work on. Mm-hmm. But the form factor that they've kind of been on for the last, 15 years maybe? Gotta be about 15 years of that, older form factor before this new one. Really super well-designed devices. And so we're talking, if you have a 64 gigs on an M4 Pro, you're talking a workhorse. This is not a slouchy Mac Mini. This is legit power computer that you could do a lot of stuff with. And very portable if you need it to be. You can throw it in your backpack. Right. Especially in that 5x5 form factor. Again, storage starts at 256 gigs. Why? I don't know. That's still too tiny for most people. Although with iCloud storage, maybe for the average bear, not too bad. Up to 2 terabytes for the M4 and 8 for the M4 Pro. So Again, Apple's not placing this in a other than the starting hard drives, not placing this in slouchy territory. This is professional use. A smaller Mac for professional users. I can speak really well. You have no voice, and I can't talk.
It's a good show.
Right. One of my favorite podcasts. We have Thunderbolt 4 and 5, USB-C, Ethernet, and then HDMI support for up to 6K displays.
That's nice.
Which is, you're not kidding. And the M4 starts at $599, which is about the same price they've been for quite some time. Really good price. And then M4 Pro from $1399.
Yeah, and if you can get it at education, you get even better price. So,
yeah, not bad.
Yeah,
and
those are
again
fantastic. I mean, the best, I think, and the best bang for the buck. I mean, just even before now, like when it was the M1 model and all of that, and it's so funny to contrast where it is now against where it was in like the mid 2010s, where they didn't upgrade it or update it for 4 or 5 years, and everyone was wondering like if it was even going to stay a product. And that period of time though, the whole Mac thing, right? Because the MacBooks weren't very good with the keyboards and everything, but they've kind of 180'd all of that. Yeah, these are excellent and just fantastic. And I think for us, we've got at the office probably 160 of these things deployed now. Just throughout classrooms and as digital signage, and they're running our Zoom rooms and all that kind of stuff. So we'll just keep on buying those.
Yeah, they're great. And especially if you have, first of all, if you're moving from a PC to a Mac, this is a way to start. You probably already have a display. You have a mouse, you have a keyboard. You can plug this right in most cases, as long as the displays that you have HDMI capabilities. I have an M2 sitting right here. That's what I'm recording on right now. And truly, I love my MacBook Pro, for its portability and my ability to kind of, do what I need to do wherever I need to do it. But these Mac Minis are and have been my favorites for quite some time. So good stuff. And again, you can order those now. So you can get them now. There were a lot of unboxings that I saw yesterday of people who were getting those guys. So,
speaking of things on the bottom, the power button is on the bottom.
Yeah, you know what? And there's been a lot of hoo-ha about that.
I don't care about that.
I don't care either. I mean,
couldn't tell you last time I hit the power button.
It's rare.
Other than when we had severe storms, I would shut it down, and then have to hit the button to turn it back on. But usually it just runs.
Yeah, and my feeling is I will guess that Apple has, unless you're super fat-fingered, you probably can reach under that pretty easily and hit that button.
Yeah, I think I saw people saying they did have to lift it a little bit, but who cares? I mean, look how small it is. It's not like you're lifting much.
No, it's, people are going to whine.
Right.
So,
but I mean, I get it too. It's like it's a talking point, but I don't think it's a big deal.
No, I agree. It is. Yeah. And it probably could have stayed on the back like it was, but whatever.
Right. And I will say, though, on the back, a lot of times you have to be careful with it because the power plug on the current or the previous form factor was right next to the button, and you'd be trying to take that out, and I would hit the power button. And so that probably says more about me than the power button. But
yeah, probably.
Yeah. All right. So you can get those now. They are fantastic, or should be anyway. I don't have one, but they should be. All indications are that they will be. So a little baby Mac Studios. That's one thing to remind me of.
Yeah, that's one of the things that's kind of cool about the form factor is it is like a Mac Studio. It's got that. And I saw, I kind of love this. Somebody has now created a housing for it that makes it look like one of the I don't even know what they're called anymore. The big ones, the Mac Pros.
Oh yeah, sticking inside that.
Yeah, it's got little rollers on it and everything, and it has the little. It looks pretty cool.
That's good. I like it.
Yeah.
All right, so up to Wednesday.
All
right.
So this is the end of the announcements. Apple updated MacBook Pro 14 and 16 inch. Again, M4 Pro and M4 Pro Max chips with an entry-level 14-inch MacBook Pro with just with an M4. So config options, again, this is going to be same song, third verse in this case. 10-core CPU, GPU for the M4 Pro, up to 14-core CPU, 20-core GPU, and then the M4 Max up to 16-core CPU, 40-core GPU. So smoking, way out of my league for anything I'm doing. I can't type fast enough to justify any one of those.
Right.
RAM starts at 16 gigs again, up to 128 gigs for the M4 Max. Storage, hey, look at this. 512 gigs.
Hey, look at
done
that.
that all the way around, Apple. There's no reason you couldn't have started there for everything, but you can get up to 8 terabytes depending on the chip that you've got in your Mac. 3 Thunderbolt 5 via USB-C ports, HDMI, SDXC, and MagSafe 3. These start at $15.99 and go
way up.
Way into the stratosphere. Have fun with whatever you want, and depending on what your RAM and storage choices tend to be, and those are also available now. So really, really nice selection. Not a lot of fanfare, other than hey, here we are. No party, no meeting at Apple.
Right. They did the videos for each one of those. Like the little promo
which I
videos.
haven't even watched.
Yeah, I haven't watched any of those either. But I think the MacBook and the iMac both have the nano textured options.
Yeah, and actually I saw one of the MacBooks with the nano texture. I got to say, I have nano texture on my studio display, and I love it and I hate it. It's a pain in the ass to clean. It just is. And I guess I'm a spitty talker. So cleaning is definitely a thing. But I have a window at my back where I have that, and it used to wear me out actually when I did not have the nano texture display, and that's one thing that I definitely don't have a problem with. And another thing about the nano texture is you only notice where you've spit on the screen when it's off. So
good.
It looks pretty good otherwise. So that's it. Some nice features.
Yep.
And Apple's done well with that. And I'm going to say Apple's hardware offerings in the Mac realm are quite good as far as I'm concerned. I'm on a MacBook Pro. I probably, I won't need to get anything new for quite a few years now. But
Is it M2? M2?
Yeah, it's an M2, right?
Yeah, M2 Pro, right?
Thank you, Stollers.
Well, they shut down that restaurant, so you won't have to worry about anyone else getting their stuff taken.
In and out on Hagenberger Road in Oakland is closed.
Yeah.
for that very reason.
It's your fault, Jeff.
Mine and about 4 zillion other people.
But no, I agree. I think hardware, they're nailing it. And the other thing they did real quick too, they said that the MacBook Air M2 and M3 models are also getting that bump up to the 16 gigs base RAM.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's good. And there was no price increase with that either. So that was a nice announcement because at work, that's the laptop that we get to deploy to students, which is the 16 gig model. And so we're going to be looking at, what we want to do with the cost difference. Do we want to bump up the RAM, or not the RAM, but bump up the storage or leave it where it is? So we're going to talk about that this week. But that's good. So, and I'd say I still love that MacBook Air. That's such a great computer.
It really is. If that had been available when I got my M1 stolen, I probably would have gotten a MacBook Air. My daughter has one of those and absolutely loves it. Just as a reminder, in Apple Card, even though you hear Apple Card ads on a million podcasts these days, nobody's advertising here. Apple still runs a great deal where no interest and even payments for a year, and highly recommend that. So it's basically they're giving you free money to pay it off on terms. So if you need one, look into getting an Apple Card in your wallet. Sure, Apple, you can advertise with us. Apple Card. All right.
Okay.
So next up, Apple Intelligence is now available for iPhone, iPad, and macOS as part of iOS 18.1, iPad OS 18.1, and Mac OS Sequoia 15.1. There are many features, and by the way, I'm on betas now of 18.2, so I'm a little. I haven't been on 18.1 for a little minute.
Okay, good, because I want to have you talk a little bit about what's in 18.2 once we go through what's publicly available now, not in beta. But well, we should. Let me correct that, because the OS releases that provide Apple Intelligence, the first features that he just mentioned there, 18.1 for iOS and iPad OS and Sequoia 15.1, those operating systems are not in beta, but Apple's still calling Apple Intelligence the beta.
The beta, right. Yeah. And for good reason.
Yes.
I'll share my moment today when I used Siri. And it gave me a very interesting result for what it is that I had typed. Anyway, so all those available in the latest version obviously should be updating to whatever the current version of your OS is, no matter what. There are some writing tools, including proofreading, adjusting the tone of your writing and summaries. In fact, there are ads. I don't know if you've seen the ads or not, where, there's actually, I thought, a pretty clever one where some guy who basically is daydreaming in a meeting gets told to, hey, can you tell us what the prospectus is? And he kind of gets this look on his face, and he backs out of the room on his rolling chair and selects the text for whatever the memo is, and has Apple Intelligence dropped it 3 or 4 very smart bullet points, which is pretty clever. But you've got those kind of capabilities,
right? Have you played around with those much?
Not really.
Okay,
not that stuff. I probably could use proofreading. That's not really any different than spell check.
Right.
My writing tool of choice, which is Highland Pro, I do not think supports Apple Intelligence yet. They just had some big shindig where they're announcing a new version. I don't know what that new version is, but I presume that that's going to be part of what it's got going on.
Right. So I've been looking at the writing tools, because I use Grammarly, not every day, but so like when I do the newsletter that I send out, or if it's an important email at work that's going out, and I type it out really quickly, and then sometimes I'll use that to clean it up, but not always. And I've got the pro version of that, and I like it. I think it does a nice job. I don't take every recommendation that it makes, but I'm kind of looking at the writing tools to see how they compare with Grammarly, and are they sufficient enough that I can maybe drop the Grammarly Pro subscription? And so far the answer is not yet, which isn't really a surprise, because it's just the first version of it. Because one particular thing that I've noticed is some of the, so you can select your block of text, and then you get the little icon, or in some of the apps now, they've got the icon for Apple Intelligence, and you just click it and it brings up the writing tools. And then it will, give you the menu or the little pop-up that you can choose what you wanted to do. So proofread, make it more concise, make it friendly, those types of things. What throws me off a little bit, the proofreading doesn't do it so much because it shows you in line, but if you have it rewrite it, it kind of just replaces what you've written, and you can't go back and compare the two to say, well, I like this little section, but not this section, and that just might be because I've gotten used to the way that Grammarly does it. And I don't like to use the Grammarly plugin because I'm not really super comfortable with them capturing every keystroke I type in. So I copy my stuff into the web app and then let it run, and then go through the recommendations that they make. But you get to go through them kind of down the page as you go. And that could just be I'm used to that. But so far it's not there, but I think it's going to get close, because I think I saw in the beta versions, which you can check out, or maybe you've seen it, they're building a little more into it, where they're adding some more features to the writing tools, because it's obvious this is still very much in progress. Yeah.
Yeah, and you probably, if you're going to use those writing tools the way that you're using Grammarly, popping it into the web app and handling it there, you probably can, using, actually just open up another document or duplicate the document that you're working on, and then make those changes, or use Apple Intelligence in the second document, and then put in what you like in the original.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it were all in one, that would be much better.
Right. Because when you post or put something into Grammarly to have it check it, you get kind of, it's similar. Like you get to choose like what the domain is. Like, is it personal, business? Is it formal, informal? I mean, and then based off of what you choose there, kind of helps with how they direct the tone. Like, okay, so more general slangs allowed if it's informal or casual and those types of things, which are, kind of similar to what you get in the pop-up there for the writing tools, right? Because you get concise, friendly, those sorts of things.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll see. Yeah. Again, all these things are.
But I do like it's on device. That's a big thing.
It really is.
Yeah.
Which means your information is private.
Right. And even if they send it off, it goes off to that private cloud
anonymously.
Right.
Yeah. So I like that.
Yep.
So, sir, a couple of Siri enhancements, including context awareness between requests. I haven't tried this yet. I did try it before I was on 18.1. Was it 18.1? I can't remember. Anyway.
That worked okay for me.
Did it? Mm-hmm. I think I tried it before it was legit, before 18.1 was really out, and it was not working too well for me. And I have a little moment today where I was responding to a text that somebody said to me, and I said, told Siri via messages, "I'm long gone," Long gone, and Siri, for some, and this would be contextual. It should know what it is that you're saying. Sent a message that said, "I'm long gone."
Good.
So yeah, that's great. Yeah. So
was that either in the car that you set that from?
It was in the car.
Okay.
In CarPlay. Yeah. I'm long gone. So either I'm making fun of people with speech impediments or I'm racist.
Great.
It's one of those two things.
Great. You're not just a nice guy overall, are you?
Yeah, I'm great.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And I think what's confused some people is, Apple and their marketing stuff has talked about in a brand new Siri that's way smarter, but that's not here yet.
Yeah, Siri's still with us.
Yeah. Old Siri you've known and loved through all the years is still here. It's a little bit better, but the big stuff is still to come.
Right.
And who knows how well that will work. It's not here yet.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Reduced interruptions focused mode, which I have been using and I like quite a lot. I have several focus modes, some of which, block everybody, Tom, including you. I have a recording focus mode that I use right now that will only accept text messages from you. So when you tell me I'm a dumbass, I can respond accordingly without you having to say it publicly so everybody can hear it.
Keep our spats private.
Yes, exactly right. We don't air our laundry. So it's a nice. I really like it. I haven't quite figured out how different that is from Do Not Disturb. Do Not Disturb, I don't think lets anything through. This tries to be more intelligent about who it is and isn't letting through. I haven't felt. I haven't explored that difference quite yet, because usually when I'm turning on a focus mode, I'm trying to focus on something and not study what the focus mode is doing.
Yeah.
But I do like that reduced interruptions feature. I've not tried this. I don't know if you have Memory Maker in the Photos app.
I did.
And?
Yeah, it worked.
Yeah, it worked. What's that mean?
Okay. So I went in and said, what did I do? I think I did, I don't know, show me pictures of the dogs at home or whatever it was. And it did what I asked. So okay, it works. Really? Good.
Mostly dogs, no chickens?
Don't think there are any chickens. Well, I take that back. There might have been somewhere the dogs were outside and the chickens were out with the dogs.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So
life on the farm here.
It wasn't intentionally stupid about dogs.
Right.
That's good. Clean up in photos to remove unwanted objects in your pictures. I actually sent you a picture that I took where I kind of wiped out the overhang on a building to kind of open it up. And you rightly pointed out that there were some vestigial lines, that you could see the break between, what was cleaned up and what wasn't. I haven't looked at it since then, but it does work really well.
Yep.
And
play with that a little bit with a few shots. Yeah, it did a nice job. My son tried it with some pictures he took the other day, and it turned out pretty nice too. So
yeah,
I think it's good. It'll continue to improve with some of the refinements and things. But yeah, I think it's a good start.
Yes, you can remove your X from all your photos. That's good. Not your X. I'm not speaking to you specifically, Tom.
Well, that's good.
Saying.
Yeah, good.
Don't want to get any messages on the side. What do you mean his X?
Right. Jesus. Great.
La 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 la. Summaries in Mail, Safari, and notifications. I like that feature. It's working pretty well. And actually, what's really nice is in the car, if there are 3 messages that I'm getting from somebody, Siri and CarPlay will read me the summary first and tell me what it's about, and if I want to, it then reads all the associated messages.
Oh, that's nice.
Finding that works really
that.
well. Yeah, it's a great feature. So kind of summarize some things. It does do some funny things. I'd have to look it up. I sent something to somebody that was they responded to me, and when they responded to me, the summary was. It was, let's just say, way, way different than what it was that person was really saying. Well, I won't go into any detail other than to say it made it it made it sound more salacious than it actually was. So that was kind of interesting to me. I took a screenshot of it and sent it to them just because they needed to see it. But it made it sound worse than it was.
You use Mail app, right? Your Mail app.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are you thinking about the priorities?
I like it. I like it a lot. And actually, what's really nice about it is the priority thing. Is that only in the beta, or is that in 18.1?
It's in 18.1. Yeah. No, in the beta, they've got that new thing that you sent me the screenshot of the day before yesterday or yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the priority stuff, I like it a lot.
Yeah.
The stuff that kind of raises says, hey, this might be important.
Right.
Yeah. The other feature, the one that they've just added to the 18.2 beta, I really, really like. But yeah, that priority I like a lot. It was putting those things at the top. It does that, by the way, with Siri, with messages, especially on the lock screen. I was at work the other night, and there was some big conversation going on about something coming up, and I was able to look over and it says, this might be important. And, it had a little highlight about questions about some event that, we were all supposed to be going to, and it raised that to the top. Even though I was in a work mode where, I don't usually get text messages from anyone when I'm working at this particular place. So those features, I think, are phenomenal, and I suspect that they'll only get better as time goes on.
Yeah, I've been liking those. Yeah, off to a good start.
Yep.
It's still hit or miss with accuracy on some of the summaries and some of the priority messages, but I think over time, as you mentioned, that will continue to improve, and we'll end up with really nice stuff.
Yeah. Here, I'll say what that thing was. I know someone who's having some issues related to reproductive health. We'll call it that. And the message essentially said the birth control didn't work. And that was the summary. It was like, okay. So,
oh no.
Which was true in the context of the message, but it was more about, what was happening. And this person listens to the podcast, so don't shoot me that I said this, but the summary was way different than the actual context of what the thing was. So yes, the birth control did not work, but it was,
Hate when that
basically making them sick. That was what the deal was. Because they were taking it for a very specific medical purpose. Anyway, so yeah, summaries can be a little off, and if heard in public,
a little nerve-wracking.
Right. You read it in a car with the car full, and everybody goes, "What? What is that supposed to mean?"
Nothing.
Yeah, exactly. Nothing.
Yeah.
So anyway.
Yeah. So the other couple of things we've gotten so far: audio transcription in Notes and other apps. So if you drop an audio file into the note, it will actually transcribe that too. You don't have to necessarily record it in the note. But I've not used that too much. Have you toyed with that at all yet?
I haven't.
Okay.
I haven't. I think I tried it, briefly. And I got to think that this is coming from the they transcribe all your voicemail messages.
Yeah.
So I think that's
hopefully it's better than that.
Yeah, me too. And then smart replies to messages. So, and just as a reminder, if you expect or hope to begin using Apple Intelligence, devices that supported are iPhone 16, iPhone 16 Plus, iPhone 16 Pro, iPhone 16 Pro Max, iPhone 15 Pro and Pro Max, any iPad with an A17 Pro or M1 and later processor, and Macs with M1s or later. So the guys that stole my Mac, you can use Apple Intelligence.
They need some intelligence.
Or some, some
Yep.
hooks. You need iOS 18.1, iPad OS 18.1, or Mac OS Sequoia 15.1. And there are only currently a couple supported languages. So just be aware of that. In fact, I don't think Siri is currently supported in Canada. Go figure that out. And
then we'll download those components as you start to activate some of those.
Correct. Right.
Yeah. Yep. So the next batch of features isn't too far off, Jeff, and you've been running the betas. We've got Image Playground on the way, Genmoji, and Siri's integration with ChatGPT, all coming as part of iOS 18.2, iPad OS 18.2, and Sequoia 15.2. It's coming up in December. How are those with the betas, or at least the ones you've had a chance to check out?
So far, so good. The Genmoji thing, that little playground feature is in beta, and I had to apply early to get into that. I have not been accepted into the program, not yet. I presume within the next few days that'll come up. But you had to actually request access to it in order to be able to do something with it.
Right. So definitely not as quick as like the Apple Intelligence beta, right? Remember that one? Like the OS were in the beta, and it was like apply, and a couple minutes later you're in.
Right.
Yeah, it's a little different for that.
Yeah. For whatever reason, you think this would be almost instantaneous as well, but it's not. The Siri stuff I want to play with a little more. As I told you, that Siri is what gave me Wong instead of Long.
Right. And I think you can tie your ChatGPT Pro, I think is what they call it, your paid account. So if you've got a paid account.
If you have one, but guess who doesn't have one of those?
Yeah, I have one of those. So I'm going to tie it in. I'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah, you can give me some information. I really do like the auto organization in the Mail app, although I'm surprised to find that it's not in the Mail app in macOS. It is in iPadOS and it is in iOS, but I don't have that feature available to me, even though I'm on the 18.2 beta on my Mac.
Maybe they've not done that yet.
Yeah, unless maybe I didn't update. Maybe I turned off betas on my Mac. I don't know. That's maybe I'm just that stupid. It's possible. There's these things are not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to that. I think that'll be nice. Of course, I joked with you the other day. Google's done that for ages, but it's going to be nice to have. I mean, it's
And one of the things I really like about it on my phone is it does really find the legit messages, the ones that are important, family related, and it organizes it by some things are receipts. People are in my Verizon for home bill just got paid, and it throws it over in that transactions area, which is really makes it really easy to find.
Right.
The thing that you purchased at Lowe's 3 weeks ago is all in one area. So I do like it, and I love the spin on this. Promotions is one of them, and promotions are just the BS messages that you get. You could get 5 cars for $25 or something like that. So it's really well organized, and so far one of my favorite features in that new beta. I just installed it yesterday, so it's a little new to you. Yeah. Okay. I haven't had a chance to really fool around with it too much, but so far I like it.
All right,
and
good.
You can tell me when the GPT link is good, because
I'll do that. I might after I get the show edited today. Maybe I'll put it on my iPad after that.
Okay.
And check it out.
Cool.
So those are scheduled to be released in December. I would imagine before the holidays.
Yeah.
Just get that done. Now, the Siri piece we talked a little bit about there a while ago, the big personal context Siri, where Siri knows your information on your phone and all that kind of stuff, is a springtime thing. Sounds like so March probably. But that will be maybe a fun one to get on the beta for.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because that's the one that's supposed to, I think everybody's kind of waiting to see. And I think if that's the one they screw up, they're really going to hear about it.
Yeah, of course they will.
Right. I mean, they'll hear about it either way, but.
Right. Everybody likes to complain.
Yep. And only somewhat related, the latest beta of Vision OS brings support finally for the wide and ultra wide Mac displays that they showed at WWDC. I have not put the beta on the Vision Pro, so I've not tried it, but I've seen some screenshots. It looks pretty nice.
Okay.
I mean,
I saw some
working with these massive ultra wide Mac displays. I'll try that once it comes out. I don't think I'm going to do the beta, but
why not? You're not using your.
Exactly.
Yeah, so throw it on there.
Last thing I want to do is have to resurrect it from being bricked from a beta. I probably wouldn't, and I'd never use it again. But,
oh my God.
Yeah, so I imagine that will come out in December as well.
Okay. Tom.
Sir.
We burned 45 minutes of everybody's time.
We did, and thank you guys for putting up with my voice. It's been rough. It felt like 4 hours.
So sexy, Tom.
Well, that's creepy. There's the show open right there.
Right.
But close us out, Jeff, will you?
So as a reminder, Show Music, Psychokinetics, Celsius 7. That is both our opening and end music. That is who that is. Highly recommend that you check them out. Our show artwork, Randall Martin Design, who he's done a lot of work for a lot of people I know and does brilliant work. So highly recommend that you check Randall out if you have any needs of artwork done. You can reach us at feedback@basicafshow.com. You can also reach us right inside the show notes. There's a link where you can leave us messages, and we'd be happy to hear from you. We are always happy to hear from you. And very importantly, we should probably say this at the top of the show. Leave us a review on your favorite podcast app, whether it's in iTunes or it's not really in iTunes, in podcasts. Good God, how old am I?
I think there's still iTunes for Windows, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, there might be. Or it's in, whoever it is.
Wherever it is.
Listen to. Yeah, right. Just do that for us, because it does push us up in the algorithm. And like I've said, we're continuing to get more listeners every day. So we appreciate that very much.
We do. Yeah. As we've said multiple times, lots of places you could go for this type of content. And we are honored that you would spend a few minutes with us. So thank you for that. I'm going to run out of here and hit a shot of Robitussin.
That sounds fun.
Yeah, that's life today. But anyway, thanks again, everybody, for being here, Jeff. Always good to talk to you, sir.
Good. Yeah,
All right.
Pleasure.
Until the next time, have a great rest of your day, rest of your night. We'll talk to you then.
See ya.